Hello Orchid friends, welcome back to my channel. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, staying healthy and staying safe.
Today we're looking at this Phalaenopsis orchid. It's a cross between yellow chocolate and Tingxing Phoenix. I have two of this orchid type. They were in I think they call it a community pot. So they came in one container from an orchid nursery in Taiwan. They're called Joseph Wood Orchids. The reason I wanted to purchase these orchids was really because of the color. At the time, I did not have any quote-unquote red orchid. I have purple orchid, dark red, and then just not a red orchid. And this one is as close as what I could find. So as close as, the red that I wanted. So I went ahead and purchased two because they came in two. One of the things I love about this orchid is its fragrance. It's not a strong fragrance, but when I get close enough, it's actually a very pleasant, sweet fragrance. And then if you look at the flower, the edge of the flower has a little bit of yellow. So I really like that as well. So it's not just red, but it also has a little bit of yellow. It's almost like the red is growing on top of a yellow background. So it's really cool. And the lip too. The lip is that red velvety color that I really enjoy as well. So this orchid is really easy to take care of. And every year since I purchased it, it would give me blooms. And this year, it did really well. It gave me 6 blooms because previous years, it had always given me, a few flowers here and there. But it always, as it ages, it just gets more established and more stable. So it gives me more blooms. This is actually the most blooms that it's given me. And you might have noticed that this orchid, it try to branch out, but I couldn't find any photo, and I don't remember exactly whether those branches actually developed. So because I didn't take photo, and if they did really develop anything, I would have taken photos. So I want to say those branches just didn't eventually make it. But this time around though, 6 flowers, I'll take that. And the display is also very neat because when it was growing at the flower spike, I basically did not move this orchid at all because I wanted to have a very straight flower spike. I didn't stake this flower spike this time because I wanted to have that natural pendant dangling look. But next time I probably will, just to see if the display will get better or it would have a different kinds of, display. These two orchids are in clay pots, and the media mixture is a mixture of manto clay and hydrocorn. So it's inorganic media in clay pots, and because the clay pot is really small and the media is a pebble mixture, so however much amount of water I provide to this orchid will quickly get to the very bottom and just come out of the drainage hole. So in the video you can barely see, but essentially I put the clay pot into a plastic container. I think it's an 8-ounce beverage cup. So I use that as a saucer to catch the excess water that comes out of the clay pot. But because it's only usually 1/8 of a cup that I provide to this orchid, and I know that's what this orchid needs, so I usually don't drain out the water that comes out, because clay pot can also wick the water back into the pot itself, or even into the media, so this orchid can continue to absorb those moisture and nutrients. And it's true because usually by day 6 it's completely dry. So this orchid with 1/8 of a cup and a plastic cup at the bottom, it can still reach a wet dry cycle within a week. So that's really nice and convenient. And then coming up, we're going to take a look at the second one. This second one actually bloomed slightly later than the first one. And because of, the first one being a more of an overachiever with 6 blooms and also bloomed earlier, so I took a lot of photos. But the second one, I sort of just neglected it because, 4 blooms, and plus it's, blooming at a later day, so I just didn't really, feel very motivated to take a lot of photos like I did with the first one. So here are the few photos I have of the second one, but it was very pleasant still, very cute, very dainty. When it was in bloom, I actually moved it to the coffee table in my living room when this second one was in bloom. And it just sits very nicely at the corner of the my square coffee table in front of the TV. And I actually got a lot of compliment from my friends on this particular orchid just because of the color. Not so much the fragrance, because I don't always mention about its fragrance when my friends come to visit, but I would always just kind of leave it on the table, and then my friends would always notice and say that they really like that color because it's not a color that they see regularly at nurseries or grocery stores. Fertilizer, quarter strength, that's very typical, and this orchid only gets 1/8 of a cup. Quarter cup will be too much because quarter cup, it won't finish the wet dry cycle within a week, and usually day 5 or day 6, day 5 usually excess water, and I feel that's a little too troublesome, so I reduced the water amount to 1/8, and that seems to did the trick, and this orchid likes it. And because these two orchids have relatively long bloom cycles, so they still have a little bit of overlap, and that's why I was able to put them side by side to give you this video clip, their side by side comparison. The one on the right is the larger one. You can see the leaves are bigger and with more blooms, but I think they both are doing relatively well, and my hopes for the second one is that it will continue to maybe give me one more leaf and potentially grow a couple more roots, because I feel that the second one just needs a little bit of boost. Maybe I need to increase the fertilizer, who knows, but hopefully next year I will be able to share and showcase their bloom with you.
This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!